Hello, my name is Richard Capone. I'm the CEO of Let's Go Learn, and I'm so excited to show you the latest AI features in our system. So to start with, and we've been busy, so a lot of stuff has come out over the past couple months. So just to start with, just to remind people, we are a present level diagnostic assessment. That's amazing, right? There are really no other automated computer adaptive assessments that are present level assessments. So essentially what I can do is, if I take a look at the students here are the students have completed a diagnostic. This is the math assessment. You can see the students' score, total scores, their strand scores. But the real key here is if you flip over to numbers and operations, we see all the 14 subtests of numbers and operations, and then we take a look at measurement. I think there's 7 subtests, and then it goes on to data analysis, geometry, algebra. So every single one of these is actually a present level diagnostic. We go up and down till we find where the student's at, so we know exactly what to do next. So that is the key, right? For AI, you need good data, right? If you just give AI some very vague data, and this is the reading assessment data, there's 7 subtests and math has 44. If you give it vague data, it's going to give you a very nice sounding output, but it's not going to be accurate. So I have scores. Let's jump into the AI assistant. Now we call our AI assistants Airma. And so we're going to go ahead and click on Airma. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and select a student. And then I selected Dora and Adam, so it's going to push those present level scores into Airma. Now I could go ahead and write a prompt. I could say, please write a PLAAFP in paragraph format. I also have some prompts that are pre-saved, so global prompts, meaning you can create prompts globally, or you can go ahead and create prompts just for yourself. I have a little bit more elaborate one I'm going to do right here, and it says, please provide a PLAAFP for both math and reading, keep math in a paragraph and reading in another paragraph, provide the date of the last full assessment, and blah, blah, blah. So it provides a little bit more information. I hit submit, and here it is. So it actually writes a great PLAAFP. In math, Sam is currently functioning at a grade level score of 3.3 in numbers and operations, indicating he demonstrated a solid understanding, blah, 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 blah. In reading, it actually goes in there and it talks about the different subtests. It talks about the phonics skills he's on. So this is quite amazing, right? So if I like this, I could also go ahead and put some more information in there and continue this dialogue. We are using ChatGPT. So if I say I want to provide some additional information about their reading ability or maybe some state test scores I have that are separate, I could add that and say, go ahead and integrate this into your paragraph. If right at this point I like it, I think it's good, I can go ahead and set export response, right? And now here it is. So this is what's pretty amazing too. So there's a whole document system stored for each teacher. So the teacher can come in here, they can modify this. Let's say I want to take out that last line there, and I can go ahead and hit save, and now I can give it a name, Sam's PLAAFP Summer 25, and I'm going to go ahead and give it a category. So I'm going to say this is a present level. Now this is also where I can start storing other documents. Remember, this is where I can store prompts, I can store annual goals. That's what this is. It's a whole document system, so you don't have to worry about saving stuff into Google Drive or OneDrive and then worrying about losing your files. These are all sort of hard associated with the teacher. Now I could also give this a status, AI first draft, teacher draft, review pending. I'm going to say AI first draft, and I'm going to hit save. Okay. So now what I can do is I'm going to go back to the AI assistant, and let me show you some other cool stuff. I'm going to click on that conversation we just did. So it does store the conversation, right? So I clicked on that past one I just ran, and then I'm going to click on this little button in the bottom, which says debug. So if I click on it, this shows us exactly what was sent to ChatGPT. De-identified. All it is the student's first name, their age, the scores. We see here the scores when they did the assessment. These are the math scores. So you can see exactly what is going in. It doesn't know who the teacher is. It doesn't know the school. Everyone coming from Let's Go Learn across the country or internationally is just one user. So it's very, very protected. We are acting as the firewall for your teachers, right? So you don't have to worry about teachers using personal accounts and not being safe. This really sort of protects it, right? So this is pretty powerful. Now let's say I want to go ahead and do some more stuff. So I just wrote a great PLAAFP. I can go back and forth. And now I'm going to use, another prompt. I think there's a global prompt here. Next 10 skills to target in numbers and operations. So this is a very common thing. What are the next 10 skills I should teach in numbers and of operation strand in math. Oops, there's a little typo there. I think it'll still work. Now here's another cool thing about prompts. You could share them. So you can make them global. You could share them with other teachers, or teachers can share them with just specific teachers. So there's a whole sharing system, sort of like what Google Drive does or OneDrive does, where you can share stuff. So here it is. This is amazing. We have an IEP tool report where teachers do this. They pull out what are the next goals they should work on. But right here, it did it automatically, right? So now what I would do is I said, let me go ahead. I'm going to take a look at this. Here's the skills. A little bit of a formatting issue here. So what it did was it chose these skills to target within multiple subtests, right? And what I'm going to do as a teacher, I'm going to say, okay, well, over the next quarter or semester, this is a lot of skills. I think 10 skills are too much to work on. I'm going to take out. This skill here, subtraction, and I'm going to take out division. So I'm really going to focus on place value, addition of whole numbers, multiplication of whole numbers, and fractions. So I'm going to want to go ahead and turn these into SMART goals. So I'm going to copy these right here like this. Okay. I'm going to close this out. Okay, great. Now I'm going to go ahead and ask it, take those goals I just copied and have it create a SMART goal. So please write a SMART goal from these skills and concepts. The last skill in each of the 4 subtests will be a SMART goal, and the earlier skills to target will be short-term objectives to list under each SMART goal. I also need to give it a format. So this is where we can pre-train your teams. Use the format. Sam will demonstrate 75% mastery when tested on X by the end of the semester. Okay. Here are the goals to use. All right, here it is. So now it says the SMART goal. Sam will demonstrate 75% mastery on identifying place value, blah, 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 blah. And here's the short-term objective, right? That was the other goal right here. Same thing with addition, multiplication, and fractions is listing it out too. So this is pretty amazing, right? Imagine the huge time saving. Now with a little bit of training, which of course we would train your teams on. Now here's another cool thing too, is we can also create a custom Airma for any customer. Right? In that one, we could do some more advanced stuff. Like you can add commands. So if I could type check now, I could put a command in there and it would go ahead and maybe check my SMART goals and make sure they're the right format against a checklist of yours. Or I could do it when I'm writing a PLAAFP. So those are things that are very easy. Now you could do that with the prompting too, right? But you'd have to put the checklist into the prompt, check it against these 25 points. So from a compliance standpoint, this is pretty amazing. Now let me go into something else. I'm going to go back up to the top. I'm going to go into the documents and show you another piece. I go up here, documents. So this is that whole document library I talked to you about that's tied to each teacher. If I go ahead and grab prompt, let me show you how that works. I have a few prompts right here. Here's one, write PLAAFP detail, right? I can go ahead and edit it if I want. Or I can go ahead and hit share. And when I hit share, I can make it global. Or I can specifically share it with a specific user. Right now, this is shared with Howard, and he has read-only access. So this is, like I said, it's very much like Google Docs sharing, or it's like OneDrive, all right? All right, so the last thing I just want to reiterate, I'm going to go back over to the AI assistants, and we do have a few other ones. We have one that's specifically just looking at reading data and one that's looking at math data. So if you really want to drill down into it, the idea is over time, you have assistants that are very specialized because the assistants are to help the teacher. And so sometimes it might be better to have an assistant that's more pre-trained on a specific subject. But the learning plan assistant is going to be your general one who takes both sets of data. And again, just to reiterate, We store all of this data in our own system. So all these past conversations are stored on our database. We have that privacy agreement with you at the district or the school, right? Teachers can go to the past ones. They can continue conversations with old threads. There is a time limit. I think it's probably going to make it 60 days or maybe 30 days because we don't want teachers to go back to really old conversations because the data may be outdated. Our data is always fresh, right? Because anytime the teacher gives a quiz, or in long vowel, short vowel, 2-digit by 1-digit multiplication, that data goes into the baseline data and updates it. So that's something that's very important about us is if teachers are using us for their initial assessment and also for the progress monitoring with quizzes, the data is always fresh. You always have fresh present levels. All right, so that's it for now. Lots more coming, very exciting. We want to support you in your AI efforts. Thank you so much.